The icy wind howled across the surface of Karsus 7, bending the weak metal structures of the small human colony with its fierce, invisible hands. The fog was thick and white, rolling in waves from the jagged ridges of frozen rock. The colonists rarely saw the sun here. Light was a stranger in these latitudes, and the shadows of the twilight stretched long across the frozen soil. Yet despite the harshness, humans endured. They always did. The colony, small but resilient, clung to life with stubborn determination. Every day was a battle against the elements, and every day humans proved that they could survive, adapt, and thrive where others might fail. It was during one of these pale, endless twilights that the first signs appeared. At first, it was just a glimmer on the horizon, an outline barely visible through the dense fog. But then it moved, slowly, deliberately. The shape solidified into a ship, old and weathered, metal corroded and battered by time. It emerged from the fog like a ghost, floating above the frozen surface with an eerie silence. No engines roared, no lights pierced the mist, just the cold, relentless presence of a vessel that had traveled far and long. Colonists gathered at the edge of the fog, peering through the swirling white clouds. Captain Elias Kane, the colony's leader, pushed his coat tighter against the wind, his eyes narrowing. He had seen strange things before, but nothing like this. The ship was ancient, older than anything humans had built here. Its hull bore marks of countless journeys, scratches and scars telling stories that no one alive could read. "What is it?" one of the colonists whispered, his voice trembling. "I don't know," Kane said, his jaw tight. "But we're going to find out." He didn't sound afraid, though inside, a spark of curiosity burned. Fear was natural, but it had never stopped humans from moving forward. They had crossed oceans, continents, even the void of space. Fear could slow them, but it would never stop them entirely. The ship moved closer, gliding over the icy surface as though it did not belong to the world. And then the footprints appeared. Wet, human-like impressions spread across the deck of the ship, leading from one end to the other. But no one stood there. No one had been seen stepping onto the ship. The footprints were perfect, as though someone had just walked there minutes ago. A chill ran down Kane's spine. The footprints seemed to tell a story. Someone had been there. But who? And where had they gone? The fog seemed thicker around the ship, curling and twisting as though it were alive, hiding secrets inside its damp folds. The colonists whispered among themselves, voices laced with fear and awe. Ghost ship. Alien trap. Lost expedition rumors flew fast and wild, each more terrifying than the last. Kane stepped forward. "We will find out. I'm taking a team aboard," he said. His voice carried a weight of authority, but it also carried hope. Humans were explorers. Humans were curious. And no fog, no ghost, no alien danger could stop them from seeing the truth for themselves. A small team assembled. Lieutenant Mara Voss, the colony's best engineer, Dr. Samuel Rhee, who had a mind for puzzles and a steady hand in emergencies, and two security officers, Thomas and Jaron. They wore thick suits to protect against the cold and carried compact weapons, more as a precaution than a real defense. The ship was old, yes, but it did not appear hostile, at least not yet. As they approached, the fog swirled around them, tendrils brushing against their suits. The sounds of the colony faded behind them, replaced by a silence so complete it pressed against their ears. Kane held out his hand, signaling the team to stop. "Wait," he said. "We don't know what's inside." Voss tilted her head, studying the hull. "It looks like it hasn't moved for decades," she said. "Yet the footprints are fresh. Something's alive here, or someone." Rhee bent closer to examine the footprints from a safe distance. "They're human," he said quietly. "Size, shape, stride, it all matches humans perfectly. But I see no signs of life. No disturbances inside the fog. This is impossible," Kane nodded. "Then let's see for ourselves." He pushed forward, climbing the ramp that led to the ship's entrance. The metal was slick with moisture, and the cold seemed to bite deeper as they ascended. The footprints led the way, glistening wet on the deck, guiding them like a mysterious trail. Inside, the ship was silent and vast. The walls and ceilings were tall, stretching higher than any room on the colony, and lined with strange panels and blinking lights that didn't respond to any human commands. The air smelled faintly of ozone and old machinery. Every step echoed, the sound swallowed by the immensity of the corridors. The team moved cautiously, scanning for threats. The footprints continued, leading them deeper into the heart of the ship. Doors opened automatically as they approached, revealing long passageways and empty chambers. It was as though the ship were alive, aware of their presence, guiding them forward without hostility. "This is incredible," Voss whispered, her eyes wide. "The technology, it's far beyond anything we've seen." Ree nodded, glancing at the panels. "And yet abandoned, or at least unused for a long time. But these footprints." He trailed off, frowning. Kane kept his focus ahead. Humans were good at solving mysteries, at understanding and adapting to challenges. That was their strength. Whatever this ship was, they would learn it. Whatever secrets it held, they would uncover them. Suddenly, a low hum filled the air, vibrating through the metal floor beneath their boots. The team froze. The hum was faint, but persistent, almost like a heartbeat. The footprints ahead seemed to pulse in response, wet marks glistening as though freshly made. Thomas, one of the security officers, raised his weapon. "Something's here," he muttered. "I can feel it." Kane shook his head slowly. "No," he said firmly. "This isn't a threat. It's a challenge. Humans face challenges every day. We adapt. We survive. We move forward." The hum grew louder, echoing through the corridors, wrapping around them like a living presence. And then, without warning, the lights flickered and dimmed, leaving them in near darkness. Panic flared briefly in the team's eyes, but Kane's calm presence steadied them. Voss held up a portable light, illuminating the corridor ahead. The footprints glowed faintly, as if reflecting the light, and continued to lead forward. Kane exhaled slowly, feeling the thrill of discovery rise inside him. This was what humans did. They faced the unknown, with courage, curiosity, and determination. Hours seemed to pass as they moved deeper into the ship, following the trail. Strange shapes loomed in the shadows, long metallic structures they could not identify. The air felt heavier, charged with energy, yet not dangerous. It was as though the ship itself were observing them, testing them, inviting them to continue. Finally, they reached a large chamber. The ceiling soared high, and in the center stood a control console. Old, but intact, covered in dust and frost. Kane approached it cautiously, brushing away the frost to reveal strange symbols and patterns. He pressed a panel, and the console flickered to life. Screens glowed, showing maps of stars, strange worlds, and systems humans had never seen. "This ship has traveled far," Kane said, awe in his voice. "Farther than we can imagine." Ree studied the symbols and maps. Some of these coordinates, they are beyond the known galaxy. This ship, it's older than any human records. But it has traveled where few could survive. Voss leaned closer, examining the console. "And the footprints, they match ours. Almost exactly. It's as if the ship expects humans." Kane nodded, a slow smile forming. "Then we are where we belong. Humans belong where others fear to go. This ship has found us, and we will find what it holds. Whatever mysteries lie ahead, we will face them." As they stood in the chamber, the fog outside the ship thickened, swirling violently as though impatient. The footprints on the deck glistened even brighter, leading to an exit they could not yet see. The ship, silent and ancient, waited. It had chosen to reveal itself, and humans had chosen to step forward. The wind outside howled again, echoing through the frozen valleys, carrying the sound of 1,000 untold stories. And in the midst of the fog and the cold, humans pressed on, driven by curiosity, courage, and the unyielding spirit that had carried them across worlds. The deeper Kane and his team went into the ship, the stranger the world around them became. The corridors were immense, stretching farther than any human engineering could explain. Shadows flickered against walls lined with panels that glowed faintly, pulsing like the heartbeat of the ship itself. Every step the humans took echoed loudly, yet the sound seemed swallowed almost instantly, leaving only the hollow hum of the vessel. The footprints continued. Sometimes they appeared freshly wet, as though someone had walked moments before. Other times they were faded, almost ghost-like. Kane could not understand it, but the trail was undeniable. It led deeper into the ship, toward the heart of its mystery. And every step reminded him that humans, alone in this corner of space, were capable of facing whatever the universe might throw at them. "Do you feel it?" Voss whispered, brushing her gloved hand along one of the glowing panels. "Like the ship is alive?" Kane nodded slowly. "I feel it. But not in the way you think. It's not alive like a creature. It's alive like a challenge. The ship wants to be understood, and humans are the ones who will figure it out." Ree bent over a console, examining symbols that shifted under his gaze. "I don't understand these markings. They are not any language I know, and yet something about them feels familiar, like it's trying to communicate." Thomas, who had been silent for much of the journey, gripped the railing tightly. "Or like it's watching us," he muttered. His voice was tense. "I don't like being watched." "That's human fear," Kane said calmly. "It's natural. But humans don't let fear stop them. We explore. We discover. We survive. Remember that. We have a market. We have a live. We have a market. We have a market. We have a market. We have a market. We have a market." As they turned a corner, the corridor opened into a massive chamber. The walls rose high above their heads, and the ceiling vanished into shadows. The footprints led to the center, where a strange platform floated just above the floor. It was smooth, metallic, and covered with glowing runes. The team stepped carefully onto it, feeling a vibration beneath their boots as if the ship itself were aware of their presence. "This platform, it's not just a floor," Voss said. "It's some kind of sensor. Every movement we make, it records. Every touch. Every step. It knows." Re-examined the glowing runes more closely. "And the footprints, I think they're part of it. They aren't just marks. They are holograms, records of past explorers or crews." Kane's eyes narrowed. "Records of humans?" Ree shook his head. "Not all of them. Some are alien. Some are human. But none are alive. The ship has preserved them. Almost like memories. Lessons." A low hum filled the chamber, vibrating in their bones. The light on the walls pulsed in rhythm with it. The ship was responding. It was curious, but not hostile. It wanted something from them, and Kane knew that whatever the ship wanted, humans would give it. Humans always found a way. "Look," Voss said, pointing to one of the holographic footprints. "It's moving. It's not just stationary. It's guiding us." The team followed it cautiously. The holographic figure walked slowly, pausing at doors and panels, waiting for the humans to catch up. Kane realized then that this ship was not abandoned. It was testing them, observing them, learning from them. The footprints were invitations, not warnings. Hours passed as they moved through chamber after chamber. Each room contained something new. Alien devices that defied explanation. Walls covered with glowing symbols. Screens showing planets that did not exist in any human database. The team recorded everything, careful not to damage anything. Every discovery was a piece of a puzzle that humans were determined to solve. Suddenly, the corridor ahead shook. A low rumble rolled through the ship, making the walls vibrate. Dust fell from the ceiling, and the hum grew louder. almost deafening. The team froze, unsure what had caused it. "Relax," Kane said, though his voice betrayed a hint of tension. "This is the ship reacting. It's alive in its own way. It's curious. We don't need to fight it. We just need to understand." A door ahead slid open with a hiss, revealing a room filled with strange machinery. Cylinders of glass contained swirling energy, lights blinking rhythmically. Panels displayed alien scripts. But in the center of the room was something unmistakable. A human-like figure, preserved perfectly, suspended in a fluid that shimmered with light. Ree gasped. "It's human, but not alive. The ship preserved them." Voss leaned closer, studying the figure. "Look at the markings on their suit. They match the footprints we've been following. These were humans who came here long ago." Kane's heart pounded. So the ship has been collecting humans, or their records. For what purpose? The low hum grew louder. The lights on the panels flickered, and suddenly the holographic footprints appeared again, leading the team toward a door that had been invisible moments before. It was as if the ship were opening a path for them, guiding them deeper into its secrets. They followed the trail, moving with a mix of fear and excitement. Every step reminded them that humans were capable of more than survival. They could understand, adapt, and overcome. The ship was ancient. Yes. But humans were clever. Humans were resourceful. And this was exactly the kind of challenge they were made for. The new corridor led them to a vast observation chamber. Through the glass, they could see the stars like they had never seen before. Planets spinning, nebulae glowing, and distant galaxies stretching into infinity. The footprints led to a console at the edge of the chamber. Kane stepped forward, brushing aside frost to reveal alien symbols. "This ship, it traveled farther than we imagined," Kane said quietly. "It has seen things humans have never dreamed of. And yet, it brought us here. Why?" Voss studied the console. "Maybe it's waiting for us to prove ourselves." "The footprints, the guidance, it's a test," Ree nodded slowly. "A test of courage, intelligence, and ingenuity. This ship is ancient, but it recognizes humans as capable of more than fear. It expects us to think, to act, to survive." The hum grew even louder, filling the chamber with vibration. The team felt a presence, not hostile, but expectant. Kane realized that humans were not just explorers. They were teachers, students, and pioneers all at once. The ship was showing them a world beyond understanding, and humans were rising to meet it. Suddenly, a panel on the console lit up. A holographic display appeared, showing coordinates to systems unknown, planets humans had never charted. And then, in the corner of the display, the same holographic footprints appeared again. They paused at a symbol that pulsed brighter than the rest. "It's showing us a destination," Kane said. "A place we are meant to go." Thomas frowned. "Or a trap. It could be leading us into danger." Kane shook his head. "Humans don't turn away from the unknown. We face it. We explore it. We survive it. And that is exactly what this ship wants us to do." The footprints moved again, guiding them toward another corridor. As they followed, the ship seemed to respond to their every movement. Doors opened seamlessly, lights adjusted, and the hum became a gentle rhythm, almost like a pulse of encouragement. Humans had proven themselves capable in countless ways, and now, even an ancient ship recognized it. They entered a room filled with strange pods, similar to the one that had preserved the human figure earlier. Some contained humanoid forms, others alien, but all were suspended in light and fluid. Kane realized that the ship had preserved life to study it, to learn from it, and perhaps to prepare it for the challenges of space. Voss examined one of the pods. "The technology, it's incredible. They could preserve life for centuries. And yet, it feels like they trusted humans to understand it, to interact with it." Ree nodded. "The ship isn't hostile. It's curious. and it expects humans to be curious in return. That is why the footprints guide us. They are not warnings, but invitations. Kane felt a swell of pride. Humans were small in the grand universe, fragile in many ways. Yet they had always risen to challenges. They had crossed oceans, deserts, and now stars. The ship, in all its ancient glory, recognized that spirit, and humans would meet it, as they always had, with courage, ingenuity, and determination. Hours passed as they explored the room, documenting everything. The footprints continued to move, always forward, always inviting them deeper into the ship's mysteries. Kane understood now that humans were not just passengers, they were participants in something greater. Something that would test them, challenge them, and perhaps even change them forever. Finally, the footprints led them to a final chamber, larger than any other. The ceiling was impossibly high, and in the center of the room floated a holographic map of the stars, spinning and shifting as if alive. The footprints paused at a pedestal in the center. Kane approached it cautiously, feeling the weight of responsibility settle on his shoulders. "This is it," he whispered. The heart of the ship, the hum reached a crescendo, filling the chamber with vibration. The lights on the walls pulsed in rhythm with their own heartbeats. Kane realized that humans had been given a choice: to retreat to the safety of the colony, or to step forward into the unknown. And like all humans before them, they would choose to move forward. As the team gathered around the pedestal, Kane felt a sense of awe and purpose. The ship had emerged from the fog to test humans, to see if they were worthy of the knowledge, the power, and the challenge it offered. And humans, resilient, clever, and unyielding, had proven that they were. The footprints glowed brighter, guiding them to the pedestal. Kane reached out and touched it. A pulse of energy surged through the room, not harmful, but invigorating. The ship seemed to acknowledge their presence, their courage, their ingenuity. Humans had walked the path it had set before them, and the ship, ancient and silent, had recognized them as worthy. Outside, the fog swirled against the hull, hiding the ship from the world. Inside, humans prepared to step further, into mysteries that no one had ever faced, into challenges that would test their minds, their courage, and their very humanity. And they would face it as they always did, with determination, creativity, and the unshakable belief that humans could survive, thrive, and explore beyond any limits. The chamber seemed endless. Kane and his team stood around the pedestal, the glow of the holographic stars reflecting in their wide, cautious eyes. For hours, they had followed the trail of footprints, explored strange chambers, and witnessed technology far beyond human comprehension. And yet, as Kane studied the glowing map, he felt that they had only begun to scratch the surface of the ship's secrets. "These coordinates," Ree whispered, pointing to a cluster of stars on the hologram, "they lead to places humans have never charted. Entire systems, planets, even galaxies that do not appear in our records." Voss leaned closer, tracing the lines with her gloved finger. "And the footprints? They pause here. It's as if the ship wants us to know something important. Something hidden." Kane's jaw tightened. Humans were explorers by nature. They had always reached further than anyone expected, and they would do so again. But now, the challenge was not just about survival or discovery. It was about understanding. About realizing that humans were capable of more than the universe had ever seen. The holographic footprints moved again, forming a trail that led away from the pedestal and deeper into the chamber. Kane signaled his team to follow. The room opened into a massive corridor, unlike any they had seen before. The walls were smooth and metallic, glowing faintly with an inner light. Strange symbols moved along the surface like currents of water, and the air vibrated with the subtle hum of energy. "This section of the ship," Voss said slowly, "it feels different. Alive. More aware." Ree nodded, his eyes scanning the glowing symbols. "It's like the ship is communicating with us directly. These aren't just recordings, they're instructions. Guidance." Kane felt a thrill of anticipation. Humans had always risen to challenges, and this was no different. The ship, ancient and mysterious, had brought them here to test their courage, their intelligence, and their determination. And humans, clever, resilient, unyielding, were ready to meet that challenge. As they moved deeper, a soft vibration ran through the floor beneath their boots. The footprints, glowing brighter now, led them to a massive chamber. In the center floated a structure that resembled a command console. But unlike any human design, holographic screens spun around it, displaying star systems, alien languages, and strange geometric patterns. And there, in the corner of the chamber, floated pods similar to the ones they had seen before, human and alien forms preserved in light and fluid. "This ship," Kane said, voice low. "It's not just a vessel, it's a repository, a library of life." Voss studied one of the pods closely. "Look at these humans. They are ancient, preserved for centuries, maybe even longer. The ship has been collecting knowledge, experiences, perhaps even the memories of those who traveled before us." Ree's eyes widened. "And the footprints? They are holographic records. Memories. Lessons left by past crews. It's incredible. The ship is teaching us, guiding us, showing us how to survive, how to think, how to act." Kane's mind raced. Humans were small, fragile in the vast universe, yet they had always risen to challenges. They had crossed oceans, deserts, and now the stars. This ship, in all its mystery, recognized that human spirit. And humans would prove it. The chamber's hum grew louder, vibrating through their bones. The holographic footprints paused, then moved toward a side corridor lined with strange machinery. Kane led the team forward, determination burning in his chest. They had come too far to turn back. The universe had given them a challenge, and humans never shied away from challenges. As they approached the end of the corridor, the air shifted. A faint glow appeared, and with it, the unmistakable presence of life or something very like it. Shadows moved, independent of any visible source, and the hum of the ship grew intense, almost like a heartbeat. Thomas raised his weapon. "Something's here," he muttered. Kane shook his head. "It's not hostile. It's testing us. The ship wants to see how we respond." Suddenly, a figure appeared at the far end of the corridor, a humanoid shape, tall and elegant, moving with a grace that seemed unnatural. Its eyes glowed faintly, and its body shimmered with an otherworldly light. The team froze, unsure whether to attack or retreat. The figure raised its hands slowly, as if signaling peace. A voice echoed in their minds, not spoken aloud but understood directly. "You have come far. You have proven courage, intelligence, and resilience. But the final trial awaits. To claim knowledge and power, you must survive what lies ahead." Kane exchanged a glance with Voss and Ree. Humans were clever, resourceful, and brave. They had faced unknown worlds before and had always prevailed. This would be no different. "What is the trial?" Kane asked aloud, though he knew the answer might not come in words. The figure's glow intensified, and the corridor shifted around them. Walls expanded, twisting into impossible angles, and the air filled with a strange, pulsating energy. The footprints glowed brightly, forming patterns on the floor that seemed to guide them. Kane realized that this was the test. Navigation, observation, and adaptation. Humans had to follow the path, solve the challenges, and reach the end. The first challenge appeared almost immediately. Panels on the walls lit up, projecting shifting geometric patterns. The team realized that stepping on the wrong path would trigger traps, energy bursts, containment fields, or collapsing floors. Every decision mattered. Every misstep could be fatal. "This is a puzzle," Ree said, examining the patterns. "We have to think logically, move carefully, and anticipate the ship's reactions." Voss nodded. "Humans are good at puzzles. We've always been able to solve them, even when the odds are against us. This is no different." Kane led the team cautiously, following the holographic footprints while analyzing the patterns. The ship seemed to respond to their decisions, adjusting the traps, testing them further. Humans were clever, quick to learn, and they adapted to every challenge. Hours passed, and the corridor twisted endlessly. The team worked together, combining logic, ingenuity, and courage. The ship's trial was demanding, but humans had faced impossible odds before and had always prevailed. The footprints guided them, but the humans' intellect and adaptability determined their success. Finally, they reached a chamber that seemed to pulse with energy. The air shimmered, and at the center floated a console, more advanced than any technology humans had ever seen. The holographic footprints paused here, forming a perfect circle around the pedestal. "This is it," Kane whispered. "The heart of the trial." Re-examined the console, pressing panels and observing the holograms. "It's alien, but it responds to thought patterns. The ship tests cognition, creativity, and collaboration. We are proving ourselves, step by step," Voss added. "And the footprints, they show past explorers who succeeded. We are walking in their path, learning from them, but making our own choices." As they worked together, the chamber responded. The energy pulses harmonized with their actions, lights forming symbols that reflected understanding, intelligence, and adaptability. Humans had passed the first stage of the trial, but the challenge was far from over. The outer doors opened suddenly, revealing the emptiness of space. And beyond, a fleet of alien ships appeared, blocking the view of the distant stars. Their weapons glowed faintly, aimed directly at the chamber. Thomas muttered, "We're trapped. There's no way through." Kane shook his head. Humans were never trapped. They found solutions, improvised, and overcame. "We'll find a way," he said firmly. "The ship brought us here, and the universe presents this challenge. We adapt, we survive, we fight." The alien fleet moved closer, and energy pulses from their weapons made the chamber tremble. But the ship itself seemed to respond. Shields flickering to life, defensive systems engaging. Kane realized that the ship had not only tested humans but had also provided them the tools to survive threats. Voss quickly analyzed the console. "We can interface with the ship's systems. We can use its energy to defend ourselves and push past the aliens." Ree nodded. "It's risky, but humans thrive on risk. This is what we do best. Adapt, improvise, and overcome." The team worked together, combining human ingenuity with the ship's advanced technology. Shields flared to life, energy pulses were redirected, and the alien fleet found their attacks deflected. Kane's heart pounded, but he remained calm. Humans had faced worse odds and had always prevailed. This was no different. Finally, with a coordinated effort, the team activated a series of energy channels, creating a path through the fleet. The ship responded, opening a corridor through the void of space itself, guiding the humans toward safety. The footprints glowed brighter, leading them forward. As they moved through the corridor, Kane looked back at the alien ships, which had no choice but to retreat. Humans had used intelligence, courage, and resourcefulness to overcome impossible odds. The ship had observed, tested, and now acknowledged them. At the end of the corridor, the team arrived at a chamber filled with light. The console in the center displayed a single message in symbols they could understand clearly now. Humans are worthy. Humans adapt. Humans endure. Kane smiled. Humans had proven themselves once again. Against mystery. Against danger. Against the unknown. They had succeeded. The footprints had led them here. But it was human courage, ingenuity, and determination that had carried them forward. The ship hummed with quiet approval, its ancient systems acknowledging the resilience of the species it had long observed. Kane knew that this was only the beginning. Humans had passed the trial, but the universe was vast, full of challenges, wonders, and mysteries. And humans, clever, resilient, and unyielding, would face them all. The journey ahead was unknown, but for the first time, Kane felt certain of one truth. Humanity could rise to any challenge, outwit any danger, and explore any frontier. The footprints had led them here. But it was the human spirit that would guide them into the stars. The chamber glowed softly, the hum of the ship vibrating through every wall, floor, and ceiling. Kane and his team stood at the center, surrounded by holographic footprints that had guided them through the trials, tests, and dangers of the ancient ship. Outside, the void of space stretched infinitely, filled with stars, planets, and galaxies that humans had never charted. The alien fleet had retreated, leaving the chamber in calm silence, but the magnitude of the choice before them weighed heavily on Kane. This ship, it's alive in its own way, Voss said quietly. It wants us to continue, to explore, to learn. But it's not forcing us. We have a choice. Kane nodded, gazing at the holographic map of the universe. Humans had come far, proven themselves through the trials of the ship, and faced external threats that would have destroyed weaker species. And yet, the final step remained. The ship waited for a decision. Return to the safety of the colony on Karsus 7, or venture into the unknown. Beyond every star they had ever seen, Ree stepped forward, his eyes reflecting the stars. Humans are explorers. That's who we are. We adapt, survive, and overcome. The unknown doesn't frighten us, it calls to us. If we turn back now, we ignore everything that brought us here. Thomas glanced at the glowing footprints. And if we go forward, there's no guarantee we'll survive. No guarantee we'll ever return. Kane turned to him, his face calm but resolute. Humans have never waited for guarantees. We've crossed oceans, deserts, and the void of space without certainty, driven only by courage, ingenuity, and hope. That's why we survive. That's why we thrive. This is no different. Voss placed a hand on the console. The ship respects our choice. It will follow our lead. But the decision is ours. Humans decide their own fate. Kane took a deep breath and stepped closer to the pedestal. His fingers hovered over the controls, knowing that activating them would commit the crew to a journey with no return. Yet fear was not an option. Humans never let fear dictate their destiny. They acted with wisdom, courage, and determination. I say we go forward, Kane declared. We explore, we learn, we survive. We take this ship beyond the limits of everything we know. Humanity deserves nothing less. A quiet energy filled the room as Kane activated the controls. The holographic map expanded, stars moving, systems aligning, and corridors opening within the ship as if preparing for departure. The footprints glowed brightly, forming a path from the chamber to the ship's outer hull, as though giving their final approval. Ree watched in awe. It's incredible. The ship has recognized human courage, intelligence, and adaptability. It's giving us everything we need to survive, to explore, and to thrive. Voss smiled, a rare expression of unreserved excitement. This is what we were born for. Humans are meant to reach beyond, to venture into the unknown. The ship is our tool, our guide, and now our partner. The team moved toward the outer deck as the ship began to hum louder, resonating with energy that pulsed like a heartbeat. The ancient vessel had carried civilizations across the stars, preserved life for centuries, and tested the courage of humans. Now, it waited to carry them into the universe beyond the known, a universe full of challenges, wonders, and possibilities. As they stepped onto the deck, the fog outside, which had once shrouded the ship in mystery, now swirled around them in a gentle dance. The footprints that had guided them for so long shimmered faintly before fading, leaving only the faint impressions of the humans who had now claimed their place in the ship's story. Kane looked out at the stars and felt a surge of pride, not just for himself, but for humanity as a whole. This is it, Kane said softly. Our journey begins now. The ship lifted smoothly from the icy surface of Karsus 7, gliding silently into space. The colony below watched in awe, their lights flickering like tiny stars against the frozen surface. The humans who had remained behind knew that those who had boarded the ancient ship were stepping into a new era, one defined by courage, curiosity, and the unyielding human spirit. Inside the ship, Kane and his team explored the controls, learning the alien technology with a mix of intuition and ingenuity. The ship responded to thought, action, and cooperation, adapting to their decisions. Every command, every movement, was acknowledged and enhanced by the ship's advanced systems. The holographic stars expanded outward, showing routes to systems unknown, planets uncharted, and civilizations that might await them. Voss operated the navigation panel. The ship is incredible. It's not just a vessel. It's a living archive, a guide, a protector. Every decision we make, it learns. Every obstacle we face, it prepares us. Re-examined the readings. And yet, it trusts humans. It expects us to survive, to think, to adapt. That trust, it's an honor. And it's a challenge. Kane nodded. Humans had always risen to challenges. The trials of the ship, the tests of courage, the external threats they had overcome, all of them. Now, in the endless expanse of space, they would continue to prove their resilience. The first jump through space was smooth yet exhilarating. Stars streaked past the observation windows, galaxies spiraled in ways humans had never witnessed, and nebulae glowed in colors beyond imagination. The ship responded to the humans' choices, adjusting its course and energy distribution to optimize speed, safety, and exploration. This is beyond anything we could have imagined, Thomas said, his voice full of wonder. The universe is alive. It's beautiful. Kane placed a hand on his shoulder. And humans are a part of it. We've proven that we belong, that we can explore, adapt, and survive. The universe is not something to fear. It's something to learn from, to understand, and to thrive within. Days passed as the ship carried them through uncharted space. They discovered planets with strange, bioluminescent lifeforms, moons with oceans beneath ice, and stars that pulsed with energy unlike any human science had predicted. The footprints of the past, though now gone, seemed present in spirit, guiding their curiosity and intuition. Every discovery reminded them that humans were explorers by nature, capable of surpassing limits, embracing the unknown, and thriving against any odds. One day, as they approached a dense nebula, the ship's systems detected an anomaly, a massive gravitational distortion threatening to pull the ship into its core. Kane and Voss analyzed the situation quickly, devising a plan that combined human intuition and the ship's advanced technology. We can use the ship's energy to create a counterfield, Voss said. But we have to act precisely. One wrong move, and we could be trapped forever. Kane's mind raced. Humans were known for solving impossible problems. Across history, they had crossed oceans, deserts, and even space, finding solutions where none seemed possible. This was no different. Do it, Kane commanded. Humans adapt. Humans survive. And we do it together. With coordinated effort, the team activated the ship's energy conduits, channeling the power to counteract the gravitational pull. The ship responded instantly, bending energy around them, stabilizing their path, and guiding them safely through the nebula. Cheers erupted quietly within the chamber. Humans had once again turned danger into triumph through ingenuity, courage, and teamwork. The journey continued, and with each new system they explored, Kane felt the weight of human potential. Humans were not merely passengers in the universe, they were participants, explorers, and pioneers. Every challenge, every discovery, was proof of their adaptability, intelligence, and resilience. Weeks passed. The team grew closer, sharing experiences, knowledge, and the wonder of the unknown. They mapped new star systems, cataloged alien life, and learned to interface seamlessly with the ship. Every day was a lesson, every obstacle a chance to prove humanity's enduring spirit. One evening, as the ship floated near a ringed gas giant, Kane gathered his team in the observation chamber. The stars stretched infinitely before them, and the ship hummed softly, responding to their presence. "We have come far," Kane said. "We've faced tests, solved problems, survived threats, and explored places humans never dreamed of. And yet, this is only the beginning. The universe is vast, full of challenges, wonders, and mysteries. But humans are ready. We are resilient, clever, and unyielding. We adapt, we survive, and we thrive." Voss smiled. "The ship has trusted us, it has tested us, and we have proven ourselves. Humans belong out here, among the stars. We are capable of more than anyone imagined." Ree added, "Every challenge we face, every unknown we encounter, is an opportunity. Humans do not wait for answers, we create them. We do not fear the unknown, we embrace it." Kane looked out at the stars, feeling a sense of pride that transcended words. Humans had proven themselves worthy not just to the ship, but to the universe itself. The ancient vessel, once silent and mysterious, now carried the spirit of humanity into the infinite expanse of space. The fog of Karsus 7, the footprints on the wet deck, the trials, and the alien threats, all of it was behind them. Ahead lay infinite possibilities, and humans would face them as they always had. With courage, intelligence, and the unshakable belief that they could survive and thrive wherever they went. As the ship glided into the unknown, Kane realized something profound. Humans had walked the footprints left by others, followed challenges, and overcome dangers. But now, they were creating their own path, leaving footprints for the future, for those who would follow. The stars stretched endlessly before them. And humanity, aboard the ancient ship, was ready to embrace the journey. The footprints had led them here, and humans were ready to follow them anywhere. The old ship had emerged from the fog, carrying footprints across its wet deck, and now, humans would walk them,